Hi everyone, I'm Shweta, a yoga therapist who is helping women heal their relationships with their partners and also navigating their prenatal and postnatal journey. Um, it's been about a minute since my last content. Um, I've been processing something that was kind of blocking me from connecting with you all. I apologize for that, and I also want to share my intention behind this post and all posts to come. Um, so back in 2024, it's about 6 years since my completion of yoga therapy certification, and I had just come out of postpartum depression, severe one, and then I was feeling all powerful, and I was trying to launch my business back up, and that's when the issues with my husband in my relationship came to the forefront, and that's when I was tired of I wanted my business to you know take off. At that point, I didn't realize I was vulnerable, um, because I had come out of postpartum depression, so I felt very strong compared to what I was before. And but then the intensity of the problem in the relationship made me very vulnerable, and I signed up for coaching programs. Okay, so this may sound like news to you if you're not actively trying to establish yourself as a coach. But as a yoga therapist, I've been trying to get myself out there, and I wanted to do it in a much bigger way. That now that I'm done with childbearing, and I'm done with the postpartum depression. So I wanted to get out there and get my business up and running, and that's when I came across this program for establishing coaches. And I first saw it as like, okay, this is a sales tactic. I don't want to get into it. But they had a free 5-day workshop. I attended it and was still not convinced and all that. But I just kept hearing the replay, and then I was in. Something in that spoke to me, and I got all in, and the whole of last year, or better part of last year, I was working myself to the ground, creating content and all that, and I got quickly burnt out. And then I went back to them. I kept refining my approach. And then I went back to the lead coach, who kind of picked apart all my efforts. And she said, "Oh, your posts are not good. It's not." And I was defensive, and then that started the skepticism about this whole thing. And then due to other personal trips and stuff, I kind of fell out of the work, and then I could not get back to the work. And then I started focusing more on my spiritual work, which has taken off, and that has been my focus. And I've been sitting with why I haven't been able to come back to my to working on my business, to get myself out there, as I am more established as a yoga therapist now, that I am even able to facilitate my program, my 9-week program, to my mentor, and she had a meaningful experience, and she has given a testimonial, beautiful one. And I am like, I finally arrived here because, spirit with yoga therapy, being a yoga teacher, all this education takes a long time and to integrate. So, for example, the yoga therapy education, which is 1,000-hour education, out of the 1,000 hours, 200, the first 200 hours is the yoga teachers training. So a regular yoga teacher that you see in any gym or yoga studio, they must have a 200-hour teachers training. That's like the prerequisite, and you build you start with that, and then you have to get another 800. In my school, I had to get another 950 hours on top of the 200 hours. So in the 200-hour training, which was a year-long training, a month-long training, they said, like, the teacher said it'll take about 11 years for spiritual work to integrate. And then a year after, or like 6 months, or 6 months to 8 months after that, I started the yoga therapy journey, education, which must be done over 2 years. You can't rush through it. It's stipulated to be done over 2 years. Otherwise, we don't get the CIIYT certification, which is the accreditation from the International Association of Yoga Therapists, which is what I was striving to do from the get-go. Through my yoga therapy, through my life transformation, the courage I got to quit my job, I was amazed by the courage that I got to quit my job, and yoga helped me get there. Personalized yoga from a yoga therapist helped me get there. And so I wanted to become a yoga therapist, so I started with yoga teachers training, and that's where the journey began. So you can imagine, so 11 years just to integrate the teachings from the yoga teachers training, and then I had done 2 more years after that. So after completing my yoga therapy education, I still have to go through multiple life experiences to get here. That I feel that I am finally at a place that I feel confident enough to support other people's transformation. And I've been able to do it. I have been able to facilitate it. Even to a person, even to a seasoned yoga therapist, I'm able to give a meaningful yoga therapy session, yoga therapy program with a series of sessions. And also, so that why I'm focusing on these 2 areas, the perinatal women and women who wants to heal their relationships with their spouse. From my personal experience, I feel that it is my calling to heal my relationship and heal the generational trauma in my relationship. And as I became aware of that, as I am continuing to work on that, I feel bliss. I feel happy about the improvements the growth that we have already achieved as a family, and I want to bring this to other women. When I've gone through the intensity and come out of it through the support of yoga therapy, and as I'm rebuilding my relationship with my spouse, I am seeing a lot of women who are not, some are sharing it, some are aware of it, but I'm able to notice that a majority of women are stuck in this place where they are seeing it as a problem with the man in their life, with their spouse, and not really seeing the light on the other side. And so that is one focus area. And in all these years, as I have been integrating my yoga therapy through my life transformations, I've gone full circle with pregnancies. I've had trouble conceiving, so I've had like fertility issue, but not, it was, to some extent, so we had to try for like 1.5 years. And then we got pregnant. I went through a full pregnancy, and then it resulted in a stillbirth. I had to pause there, and I was amazed by the grace and acceptance of the result when that happened. And I could only attribute it to my yoga therapy education, which I had done during that pregnancy. And then coming out of it, I took a lot of time just healing myself and restarting and processing. So it's good that I had quit my job so I could just focus on my healing and processing of the grief. And then soon enough, about a year after or something, I conceived, and then I had got a rainbow baby. Now he's 6.5 years old, and then a couple of years later, I also had a freak miscarriage. And then again, that increased my want to have another child, and again worked on myself, did a lot of cleansing, physical cleansing, Ayurvedic cleansing, and all that, and conceived again and had the child. And throughout, I also had preeclampsia issues after the stillbirth in the first pregnancy. So I've been dealing with managing my BP. I had been taking an Ayurvedic supplement that controlled the BP beautifully. But then in retrospect, after all these years, I realized that is what caused intense postpartum depressions after my live births, or births that resulted in live babies. So I've gone full circle in terms of where I have given birth. I've experienced losses. I've experienced live births, beautiful births, natural births, in hospital, at home. My very last child was born at home, and I've had hospital birth. The first stillbirth happened at a birthing center, So at all these different venues, I've used doulas, and I've done it without doulas, midwives, and doctors, and different outcomes. And what I have experienced with all this is that when why yoga therapy would be beneficial for a perinatal woman is that the essence of the goal of yoga therapy is to get yourself connected with your inner self, your higher consciousness, or your gut instinct, or your inner knowing, right? So different terms for the same thing. But so when you are in that place of inner connectedness, you know what's right for you. You're no longer looking outside for answers. And so, but then it doesn't happen in one session. That's why I have a program of 9 sessions. So you take that weekly, you make multiple small shifts to get there. So with perinatal women, what happens is that perinatal women or anybody going through any life or physical situation, what happens is that when they are connected with their inner wisdom, they know what is right for them, so they don't have to ask for answers. And what is most important about that is that when you are connected with yourself and you are able to take your own decisions, even when it's brand new, you have nothing, you know nothing about it. Like you are a first-time mom, first-time pregnant, you're making your own decisions, they are just provided to you, you don't know what is right for you. What's stopping people from making those decisions is the fear of the outcome, the lack of accountability. They don't want to have a negative outcome and have to take the responsibility of making the choice. So that's what I got from yoga therapy. I made all the choices which resulted in the stillbirth. So, I mean, like, the choices didn't result in a stillbirth. I made the choices that were right to me at that moment. And then the result was a stillbirth. So then I couldn't blame myself. Even for a single moment, I couldn't blame myself. Even though people around me and the healthcare providers, everybody were blaming myself or blaming my body for killing a baby. But I was not able to go there. And that was a strong connection with my inner self, and that came from multiple yoga therapy sessions. Through the yoga therapy education, we had to take so many sessions during the studies, and I was amazed by the grace that I was blessed with, which I had never seen. Like, I've always not considered myself or seen myself as a graceful woman, but in when it mattered most, I had the grace to accept it and not blame or file lawsuits for the loss of the baby or anything like that. So anyway, so it's not that one outcome that I want to prepare all women for. There are a lot of different decisions during perinatal phase, and having endured long periods of postpartum depression, and I could only stay afloat because my mentor helped me throughout. It's not that you engage in yoga therapy to come out of a situation. It just gives the support until and provides the conditions for you to connect to your inner wisdom, which gives you the solution every moment, but we don't listen to it. And finally, when you have made that connection, transformation happens. And until then, you have the support. And that's how I was held, and that's why I was able to come out of all that. So these two are my focus areas. And in my next video, I'm gonna talk more about how this coaching industry, launching the coach programs failed me. But since this has been long, so I'll stop here and continue in the next video. Thank you.